Sorry, one more time.
Mr. Endo, would you like to give the full name?
Oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear. Sure, I'll pray. Let's pray. Father, I pray, especially for all the people who are hurting and because of the different disasters, not only on Maui, but also on the Big Island and so many places on the mainland that have been hit hard by natural disasters. What we do pray for those, especially in Lahaina, that have lost so much and lost so many loved ones. We ask your compassion, your peace to come over that situation. And I thank you for the aloha that it's being poured out on so many that are in need, and help us to be sensitive to what we can do to help them. And Lord, I pray once again for our board meeting that we will do all things right. For I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.
Remain standing. Raise the flag. Recite with me the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Remain standing. Hawaii pono na na I po'i kalani ai e aliki lali e kameha mea e na kaua e pale me kai. Call.
Crab.
Present. Apologies. I'm online tonight because I'm driving at the moment.
Thank you. Endo.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have this like a cold, so I don't want to expose you guys to. It's not COVID, but I figure I don't have to spread the love to you guys, so I figure we'll do online.
No worries, Mr. Endo. Thanks for tuning in online. Ganaban. Lanford. Perry. Wahilani. Pele Wilbur.
Present. I'm online.
Tiana Wilbur. Paul Monowanui.
Yes, sir.
We do have quorum at this time, Chair. I didn't touch him.
Okay. This time we're gonna start.
I didn't press him.
Honolulu Fire Department.
Great.
They don't have it on them. I do have it in my computer. County and St. Did everybody receive it? Board members, did you receive the report next round?
We're in the bowl. Doesn't matter.
I'll come back to the report. Do we have Honolulu Police Department here?
Chair, board member. Overall attainment of the police department is receiving
We have our stats for September, or August, I think. In August, we had 27 motor vehicle thefts, 9 in our area, 25 burglaries, 8 in our area, 108 thefts, 35 in our area, 25 unauthorized entries into a motor vehicle, 9 in our area. The total of 8,071 calls for service, 2,110 in our area. So I got open for any questions, comments, or
How's it going? I would see the Southwest, there's any, heard like some shootings on 2 weeks ago. That beyond this, next month.
full second that.
Any other board members?
Nothing on.
Nothing right now? No other questions? I have.
So I just wanted to say mahalo HPD for just being active in our community. It was nice to see you guys at the farmers market this past Saturday, and my kids definitely enjoyed it. Being able to experience the police car as well as the motorcycle. So thank you for just always engaging and also building up with our neighborhood security work too as well. We appreciate your patience.
I do also want to comment on that. Thank you all, sir. You guys have put a lot of stress there on everything you guys have. So as well as the church. So thank you for all your service and everything you do. We greatly appreciate you. We do recognize you. Thank you very much. Okay, so at this time we Honolulu Fire Department, I do have a recording. You want to present that? Thank you.
Good evening, Captain Shima from the Waianae Fire Station, 52. So, this incident statistics for the month of August 2023 are there were 3 structure fires, 5 wild and brush fires, 16 nuisance fires, 3 activated alarms with one fire. As far as emergencies, medical emergencies, we had 145. Motor vehicle collisions with involving pedestrians, 0. Motor vehicle crash collisions. Vehicles are 4. Mountain rescues 1, and ocean rescues 0. Hazardous materials 0. So nuisance fire include rubbish fires outside of structures or vehicles. Fire safety tip is going to be on evacuation planning for this month. So in the event of an emergency, please be prepared with an evacuation plan. Create your plan with all members of the county, and also keep in mind those with limited abilities, children, elderly, and pets. So identify possible exits and escape routes. Predetermine a safe meeting place. Always choose an escape route that is the safest. Think about various scenarios and strategize how to use them. Review and practice them often. Settle an emergency supply kit. Remember to pack important documents, medicines, and necessary pet items. Remember to stay calm, stay informed, and stay alert. For more information, visit fire.honolulu.gov. Any questions?
Hello, Kevin. Thank you. I really appreciate each of you. My question is for you folks. How long would the renovation of our fire house be up and running? And I didn't know that you folks had a sub-site over here, but that's good to know because we're in fire season.
So, currently, the projected completion with was supposed to be for December this year. From what we heard, they're on schedule. We're not too sure. Our current temporary site is on Arlen Street.
Yeah, Captain. So temporary site. Does it impede you guys' efforts on getting to emergency fire and whatnot?
It's a different layout. Definitely the way we secure the station itself, because we have had people onto the property, that should be on property, but, so it's a little bit different trying to secure each building, so it might slow a little bit of the response down. So far, I feel like we've managed pretty well. We try to keep things, fairly easy to kind of get to. We try to mitigate some of those things, but yeah. Just try to do what we can.
Thank you, Ken. It's time and we fail.
Yeah, you wanted to put it back.
Any more questions for the board? All right, Captain, here's the chairman. 109.
Thank you, Chair. Question for HFD. Is there any in light of what's happened in Lahaina with the overgrowth and the some of these properties that have brush that is overwhelming and it could possibly be overwhelming in a situation. Is there anything that you guys are doing to address those issues in the event that it can threaten other people's neighbors, so on and so forth? That's my question.
So we have, Captain Ari with, prevention can kind of explain a little bit more on that.
Hello, Mr. Wilbur, thank you for your question. My name is Captain Ara from our Fire Prevention Bureau. You guys can hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, so the question was, and you can correct me, Mr. Wilbur, if I'm wrong. The question was, is there anything we're doing about overgrown vegetation that might be found throughout the island, right?
Yes.
I can speak on behalf of the West Island. That is my area responsibility. I have a team of 4 inspectors that cover a third of the island from the airport to the North Shore.
Primarily operate or primarily address these issues due to referrals and/or complaints that we receive through various ways. However, my team and I are now actively trying to identify these areas ourselves, and we will also be addressing these overgrown parcels of land by getting in touch with the responsible parties and issuing notices of violations if necessary. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. I just had one big concern is that big purchase of Makaha Valley by outside entity, and there's a lot of brush up there, and all the houses that are it would have been downwind if had a fire had happened. And in the past we've had fires that have happened and we've been engulfed with smoke, and unfortunately the fire didn't come down far enough. But with those, there's two parcels actually. There's that one is owned by I'm not sure, the new entity out of, I believe it's Korea, and then there's another one that's right behind the elementary school, the Makai Elementary School, and they are there's a good degree of overgrowth there, and it's very concerning to the community members because some of those houses are right up against that brush. I believe Mr. Endo's house is right on the other side of that fence.
Right.
So that would be
yeah,
a
we
big
enforce. I'm sorry. So we enforce along the lines of the adopted fire code from the city and county of Honolulu, and there are prescribed distances. And one big thing is that if you guys do identify areas that you see brush that might be encroaching on structures, give us a call, or go find some info. You go ahead and find our contact information on fire.honolulu.gov, and we'll try and address whatever issues you guys might have with the overgrowth.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any more questions on the board?
Mr. Endo online.
Go ahead, Mr. Endo.
Not a question, but I know there is a law that tell landowners that they need to upkeep their properties because of the fire hazard. I mean, we cannot put the total burden on the fire department. I think our lawmakers need to really look at the existing laws and do something to make it even stricter or whatever. But I was notified about these tall Calvary trees on one of the streets across by the surf side, and these trees are like almost 40 feet tall. And if it blows down in any way, it's going to take down power lines. And so it's not just brush. We should be looking for fortunately, there was a tree in that area that did fall. Lucky it didn't. It missed the power lines as far as I could see. But on that one street, if the trees fall either way, it's gonna bring down power lines, and who knows what's gonna happen when that happens. But yeah, I I I, I appreciate what the fire department is stepping up and getting more involved because of the fires in Lahaina. But I think our lawmakers need to really address private owners taking responsibility, because the one street that the Calvary trees are on is a private road, and who's gonna take responsibility? I sent Don the pictures of those trees in the street. Um, but I think our lawmakers need to help the fire department and us with strict laws.
Thank you, Kelvin. Thank you very much. Ganaban.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you again for coming forward. Prevention is something that has been discussed with our board for a while. And now, since the Lahaina fires, obviously, it's become a big issue. So Waianae was very similar to Lahaina. It was all sugarcane before. And prior to development, so with the way it is today, we had a lot of fire mitigation, fire breaks in place that has not been in place. We had a lot of development, which I haven't seen much infrastructure as far as fire hydrants in that areas to be beefed up. Are you guys now we're looking at fire mitigation, right? So we're trying to figure out, have you guys pinned out these areas to add in fire hydrants and make sure that we have the sufficient sources for you guys to fill your trucks?
Okay, so if I'm understanding you correctly, you're concerned about the water supplies in relation to where these heavy brush areas are located.
As well as the newly developed areas, because a lot of the areas that you see
Right.
that is still open land,
Uh-huh.
they used to have fire breaks before. They're all gone now.
Right.
So now, and especially like behind Uluvei, used to be a big field blocked with Kiawe trees. Those fire breaks are no longer there. So it's just going to come straight into the neighborhoods, right?
Right.
So, and I don't see any new infrastructures with fire hydrants being put into these newly developed constructed areas that's being built around this type of areas.
Right. Okay, go ahead.
Fire Inspector Parker too, work under Captain Akbuan. I'm the West Side Inspector. I cover Scapole out the line. That's something that goes through our planning department with hydrants. So there's a requirement within certain distance of a structure. That requirement is either extended or alleviated a little bit if the building is sprinkled. So as far as putting hydrants out in open brush areas, there's no code that requires that. It's building code stuff. So the building code's going to trigger that, and then it would come from the building department, DPP, go to county, depending upon where it's built. Built on state land, it doesn't do that. Built on federal land, it doesn't do that. Only county stuff. Anything that's being built within the city and county is going through DPP, and then it would trigger our office to look at hydrants and hydrant distances. We've also, since I've been on board, which is about 3.5 years now, we've made a point of going out and mapping every hydrant in the area. So there were some blank areas. And in fact, Captain Ashima and I were just talking earlier about some of the new developments up in Mauna Olu that are coming up. So those new houses are getting new hydrants. We're going to plug them into our databases. And the way the responders work, Captain Ashima's on a truck. So he sits in front of a computer, and that computer
can tell him where the water supply is, where the sprinkler connections are. And we're doing a kind of a comprehensive look at that, where we're making sure that more of that information is available to these guys when they respond.
So, and then I'm just trying to stay ahead of this. So do you guys foresee in future development requiring sprinklers in the development?
Depending upon the sizes of the building. So most of the modern 2-story condominium style stuff that's over 3 units, it's code requirement through the building code. The building code supersedes the fire. So it comes out of that. And actually, we as a fire department have nothing to do with sprinkler installation. It's all goes through DPP.
I understand that. I'm just making sure because a lot of these preventions come from the prevention department. How do we prevent structural damage fires? It should come from the prevention, right? DPP just looks at plans. They don't know anything about fire prevention. They can tell you exactly how much water per circumference of square feet, but they cannot tell you more than what you guys are actually, your department would be focusing on is prevention, right? And taking down a whole development.
Correct. Those plans do filter through our office, but they need an engineer to actually stamp anything with that water pressures you're talking about. That's all high-level mathematics. That's done by some engineer that we contract. The city will contract that engineer. So HFD doesn't have one under contract. So our plans office restricted to a few things. They look at fire alarms, look at hydrants, look at commercial kitchens. That's what they kind of deal with. They will see those sprinkler plans come through. And like I said, that will trigger whether or not the hydrant is needed or not, or like that. So they do see it, but
My problem was in Maui. A lot of this happened. They didn't come through the prevention side, and they didn't do the right calculations for the water pressures around the area. So that's why we're looking at prevention now. Right?
obviously
That's
four
what I'm
counties,
looking
right? So Maui County
Yes.
is independent of Honolulu.
Correct, but we're
So-
looking for prevention, and because Waianae was blasted development, so we're moving forward and we're being outdeveloped, like we are being populated now. So we're trying to stay ahead, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I'm trying to look at future plans you guys have, because fire mitigation has been a topic in this board for a long time.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Salcedo.
Anyway, I've been in, talking about, on the same note as Calvin Endo and you all regarding, fire mitigation and prevention for the safety of the fire department, firefighters itself. I've been looking at some issues because I experienced wildfire over at KL's. As a landowner, my neighbor's property got burned. It was homeless. The homeless was arrested on state property land. Somehow, I guess they were in encampment under the state bridge, state jurisdiction. City and county, as I see right now, they have no jurisdiction as far as inspection. They find the inspection. Louis Kim McCoy had replied, she's the public affairs for the liaison for Honolulu Fire Department. She said, Honolulu Fire Department Fire Prevention Bureau does conduct fire inspection on certain state properties, and our ability to enforce is limited as we do not issue more than fire inspection reports for the property, such as schools and under the department. The FBI, Fire Prevention Bureau states that contact IU of the DLNR with this deficiency reports, but there's no way of revisiting the discrepancies by the city because they have no jurisdiction. Is our senator on board right now? Because I like what Calvin Ando said, we need laws to give the barriers of removing jurisdiction away from the city and having a partnership of some type of memorandum of agreement so the city fire inspectors can go there, assess the problems, and correct any type of, for example, propane canisters at one encampment on state lands and all that. That has to be removed. That's what they cite. So their job is a lot bigger than we think. But we need state legislation right now to give partnership, to give powers to our inspectors and for remediation of the corrected discrepancies is found. So this lies on our district representative legislatures. So if our Senator Marishimo Kukuro, if she can hear my voice right now, we need that. We need jurisdictional barriers removed and have the city and county fire department inspections, and we have full powers of jurisdiction in collaboration together. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Cicero. Go ahead, ma'am. Hang on, Cross, coming to you.
My name is Raquel Rocky, and I represent my family and friends on the west side. And I would like to say that this is a lot of after the fact kind of stuff you guys talking about. I think if Maui can,
Is this
yes, yes, yes.
community concern?
No, no, it has what they're talking about. So if Maui is suing people for what happened, should we sue Hawaiian Board of Water Supply for diverting all of the water that naturally would be replenishing these systems? So the watershed is being abused and not being allowed to restore itself, and we're being a part of that. And we would take a lot of the burden off of our first responders if we got to the root of the problem, which is the water itself.
Wow, interesting. I like that. Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to move along, NT. Before you get up there, we're going to move along. This is not community concerns yet. It's item 8. Okay, cross crab.
Thank you, Chair. Really quickly, I just wanted to add to this conversation. One, thank you, HFD, for all the work you guys have been doing. I know we've been recently having a lot of pop-up flyers, so thank you all, and I'm so happy you folks are safe at the moment. Thank you for your work. But also, at the Nanakuli fire meeting that we had a couple weeks ago, I was able to speak with Mr. Michael Walker from the Forestry Division. He said that currently, so we do have city, regulations for smaller parcels of land to do vegetation management and enforcement, but unfortunately, surprisingly, we don't have anything for the state. So I think in the public safety committee, if we can have that conversation in there and propose a resolution or bill to our legislators to create laws and regulations for enforcement of vegetation on larger parcels of land that are private, because of the zoning there aren't regulations currently, and then also trying to improve state land enforcement as well. Thank you.
Thank you, cross crab. Hey, so we're going to move right along to board business, yeah? And in our board business, if you do have the agenda sitting with you right now, if you don't, I have a copy up here. The first business on the board is establishing additional committees.
Point of order, Chair.
For what?
Chair, so am I recognized? So I would like to amend the agenda and move it to be accepted before we start on our board business.
All right, here we go. Thank you.
So I move to amend our agenda and request that we have our councilwoman, congresswoman, representative, House representative of District 44, Board of Water Supply, and mayor's rep to be added into our agenda moving forward in the future. As a board, this is our primary opportunity for us to connect our community with our elected officials, and this is the only platform that we have to do that. So I asked and move to amend our agenda and that to be included in all of our agendas moving forward.
Before we get that second, are we talking about the reason for that, the board
I'm
of water
sorry,
supply?
point of order. There has been a motion on the floor. It needs to be seconded before any discussion.
Go ahead.
Second the motion.
Any discussion? Discussion?
So if nobody does,
Discussions?
okay.
I have a discussion.
Go ahead.
Hey, this is a platform for the community to reach these individuals, and in the past, it's been a hard time to get in touch with these individuals because of their work schedules, their meetings, and obligations that they have to their duties. This platform is for our community to come forth and be able to ask those questions and raise those concerns. So I feel that those are very key individuals and key points that need to be added and kept on the agenda for the community.
And Wilbur, here's my answer and my discussion to that. Because you didn't email me
talk about this. I've been sending out emails to all the board members. There's a reason for tonight for leaving those officials off this agenda. They're not off permanently. We left them off of this agenda. If you read your emails, you would know why. The chairman is in charge of the Waianae board.
Point of order.
He was
Point of
elected
order.
by the people
Point of order.
to serve the people.
Point of order.
There's no point of order here.
There is a point of order.
Because I'm bringing you forward.
You're a
Because I'm
board
bringing you
member,
forward.
like everybody else.
Wilbur, I'm bringing you forward. And everybody had the email that you did. You should have responded before you brought it to the floor. But since you brought it to the floor, I'm going to put it in front of the public. Okay, Mr. Wilbur, thank you very much.
Point of order. Statute 214-117, order and decorum. All board members shall promote and preserve the order and decorum of the board's proceedings. B, the presiding officer of the board or a majority of the board may expel any individual whose conduct of the board meeting is disruptive, disorderly, contemptuous, or improper for the conduct of business at the board meeting. Secondly, I also would like to clarify for general powers, duties, and functions of the boards. A, the board, this is in statute 13-102. A, the boards are responsible for actively participating in the functions and processes of government by identifying, addressing, communicating, and seeking solutions to neighborhood issues and concerns, both within and outside of their respective neighborhood areas. Their actions should reflect the needs, wants, and interests of the neighborhood. Boards may take the initiative in selecting and prioritizing their activities and provide reasonable means to increase and assure effective citizen participation in the decisions of government. I also would like to state really quickly in clarification of our roles as officers, so duties of officers in statute 214-123. The chair, duties of officers A, the chair shall be the presiding officer of a board. In the presence or disability of the chair, the vice chair shall act as the presiding officer. If both the chair and vice chair are present, sorry, I'm going to skip down and go to B. It shall be the duty of the chair to serve as a spokesperson and representative of the board, prepare the agenda, not approve, and not dictate what goes on and off the agenda. 3, review or cause to be reviewed the draft meeting minutes before distribution to the members and availability to the public. And I'm just going to jump down to 6, maintain order and proper decorum with the assistance of all board members. My primary role as the vice chair is to, number 1, assist the chair with conducting meetings and the administration of the board's activity. Going back to our motion that is currently on the floor, my insight in this is that I have community concerns in that they're being silenced now, and they do not have the opportunity tonight to attend and communicate to their elected officials. And that has been directly come from the community in this last few days that this has been presented before the community. So I'm just sharing that as a servant on this board, your community member.
Thank you, Tiana. Thank you. Okay, go ahead, Logan. Hang on.
Yeah, just
I don't approve the agenda.
hello.
I send the agenda into the county. The county is the one that approves the agenda. Thank you, Tiana.
Clarification, that is not true according to our neighborhood plan.
That is true.
Hello.
Logan's going to speak on it. Hang on.
Just a point of clarification. It is the chair's responsibility to submit a draft agenda to the NCO before distribution to the community. At that point, it's been a whole month since your last meeting. Board members and community members alike are allowed to and encouraged to reach out to the chair and submit their agenda requests, whether that's reports from your elected officials, whether that's certain topics of board business. All that stuff should go through the chair, because the chair is the one who makes the draft agenda and the one who submits the draft agenda to the NCO. And then just regarding your motion, Tiana, I would just recommend, if you would like to add those members onto this agenda, I would recommend you amend this current agenda to include those reports. For the future, if you want those reports included, that doesn't have to be a motion. All you have to do is tell chair, and chair, I'm sure, is more than willing to include those in future agendas.
Thank you, Logan. If I may, Can I please read the email that was received by the chair
Tiana.
when that was a
You
request?
can read that email. Go ahead.
Okay.
Tiana, ask me, okay? I'm the chair. Thank you.
I'm sorry, but it states in here that no officer on the board has powers over anybody on the board. We are equal. Your job as the chair is to conduct the meeting, and it states it right here in our neighborhood board plan. But I'm getting to the email, and I have an inkling that this is why this particular member is not present. Because this was the response.
You got that, Tiana?
I'm almost
And just another thing, if any community members have, you know, like for instance, tonight, those items are not currently on the agenda. If any resident wants to raise a concern, they're more than willing to, during community concerns, come and say, while they're addressing the chair, I have this concern regarding council member, or regarding congresswoman, something like that.
Go ahead, Salcedo.
You know, as I stand here, each and every one of the board members was voted in by your committee. I don't care what the difference is. We will get our elected officials back on board, but to get them back on board, you folks need to fix the puka you folks have here. By fixing the puka is being fono, because you cannot turn around and start slandering each other in front of a community that which we're supposed to have trust in you guys. But these kind of pilikia on the floor, it's not good. The faith has been gone many years. The trust has been gone. Now we want the trust back. And as to earn the trust, that's why we have each people that comes out here to be part of the committee, but is part if we are Hawaiian Homelands, your community, your residents that you represent is coming out to join the board, to give the power to the people to make sure they have their voice. So whatever wrinkles you guys need to iron out, I highly suggest you call your folks own
I
person.
call for the question. I call for the question. All those in favor say aye to the motion.
Call your own private meeting. Do not.
Any opposed, say nay.
Dirty.
Oh, hold on. What are we voting on?
The motion.
Need clarification on the motion.
What are we voting on?
What your daughter was talking about, Mrs. Wilbur.
I'm sorry, I'm board member Tiana Wilbur, and he's board member Calais Wilbur.
Pardon me,
And the
pardon me.
motion on the floor is for amendment on the agenda to be accepted by the board. And the amendment is to add our elected officials back to our agenda so that we may get the monthly reports from them.
Could you specify which elected officials, please?
Congresswoman Jill Takuda, Councilwoman Andrea Tupola, Board of Water Supply, which is normally Chris Sugimoto, Mayor's Rep, Don Apuna, and House of Representative District 44.
Tiana, that was it.
Representative Kila.
What I did with this agenda and had sent it to the county to get approval, what I did was I removed them temporarily. Not every meeting, they're gonna miss it. So I didn't receive any response from your email, any response from your dad's email, Mr. Wilbur. So I don't know why this is being brought up. You should have brought that up in the email. Discuss that with your chairman before you step over the chairman's head and go above the chairman. We don't do that.
Point of
The proper
clarification.
organization.
Okay, point of order, point of
Hang on,
order.
hang on,
Hey, we're here for the
hang on.
community.
Exactly.
Stop. Again,
Exactly.
now we're moving on. Next agenda, treat 6.3, please. Okay, we vote on that and we're moving on.
There you go. Vote on them, then, so go.
Okay, so the current motion on the table is to amend the September 2023 Waianae Coast Neighborhood Board meeting agenda to include reports from Congresswoman Takuda, Councilmember Tupola, Board of Water Supply, a representative from the mayor's office, and Representative Darius Kila. The motion was made by Tiana Wilbur and seconded by Calais Wilbur. Crab?
Aye.
Endo,
Aye.
Gannabon, Lanford, Perry, Wahilani, Kalea Wilbur.
Aye.
Tiana Wilbur,
Aye.
Ho'omawa Ananui, the motion passes with a vote of 5 ayes, 1 no, and 2 abstentions.
Thank you very much. We're moving right along. Okay, at this time, the establishment, if you look at the board business, the establishment for additional committees and designation of committee chairs, other committees' business. If you take a look at this original agenda on board committees, there's a transportation. We have that covered. That's one committee. The second one would be House and Homeless Committee. I believe we're making a change to that, but we don't have to vote on these committees. I was told by the county that we don't have to vote on this. So the name was changed to Homeless and Housing, so it can stay the same, Housing and Homeless. Okay, the third committee is the Hawaiian Affairs. The Hawaiian Affairs Committee would like to rename that committees, but we don't have to vote on it. The Hawaiian committees is gonna it's gonna concern the Hawaiian Affairs, the EV, the Heiaus, and the agriculture. However, agriculture is also going to be tied in with DPP planning. So just be aware. What I'm trying to do here is get some organization and get the committee set up so that the heads can run it with the committees. Also, the 7.4 Parks and Recreation. I did change that one. Well, in order to design committees, we don't have to have does not have to be voted on. So that one turned into Parks Committee, okay? And then 7.5 is Education and Safety. What I did was reorganize the committees by placing education and moving the safety to public safety. Transportation, we talked about that. Ocean safety and erosion, that's another committee added to the original agenda. Environmental protection. I think those and the military liaison, as well as Department of Permit and Planning. I believe that all these committees are essential to take care of Waianae business. Not comparing to any other board, but it's the Waianae board business. I think that we may improve, we may add other committees, but right now I think these are the head of these committees are essential to the community of the Waianae. Okay, moving right along.
Hello, testing. So Chair, just to clarify, you're wanting to establish an environmental protection committee, a military liaison committee, permit and planning committee.
Yes, and an ocean safety committee.
So any changing of committees like that, anything like breaking committees apart like that, stuff like that will require a motion.
Okay.
Like kind of so changing education and safety into just education, and then ocean safety, erosion safety. So you just need a motion to basically change education and safety to just education.
Okay. Mhm.
Chair, I move the motion to make education its own committee.
Yeah.
Second motion.
Hang on, Logan. You want to bunch all this up, or you want to do it all but one by one?
The only committee you're trying to break up is the education and safety one, correct?
Okay, and then we're trying to add.
Recreation.
So we'll just add. We'll bundle the add.
So if you're trying to establish committees as chair, you don't need a motion to establish a committee. It's only because you have an existing committee
Okay.
that covers safety that you need a motion to.
So we
kinda
covered it.
change
So all
that.
we're gonna do is this. Okay.
Yeah, so we can just start with the education and safety, change that, and then after that, we can establish all the rest of your committees, and then you can work on finding
Okay.
chairs and adding members.
Okay, we have moved and we have seconded that we separate that committees. I believe it was the education and safety. Okay, at this time, we're gonna take a vote on this. Any discussions?
Chair, Board Member Crab, please.
Crab, go ahead.
I just have a concern. So, um, Board Member Endo and I co-chair the committee. I originally took or volunteered with Mr. Endo to co-chair those both issues. I'll leave it up to Mr. Endo to give more discussion of his own opinion. But for me, I have been working to prepare for the Education and Public Safety subcommittee meeting in preparations to have the first public safety meeting. So I'm okay breaking them apart, but in terms of like the chairing aspect after, if Mr. Endo can give his opinion on it, just out of respect for us co-chairing the committee.
All right, Crab. Yeah, and it's a big area when you talk about education and that is why I decided to move it over. We do have a lot of volunteers in the community that's going to assist us with those areas, and we have experts in those areas that I felt that could handle those items. Mr. Endo?
I have no problem. Only reason we had it tied in before was we uh, we used to address a lot of the safety issues at the schools. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, having separate committees, it'll be all right.
Right, right. I understand. Yeah, and like I said, because we got a lot of volunteers in the community now, I think we should share the work to people that have expertise in that area of education and also the other department. Yeah. Okay, we have a motion on the floor to separate those. We have first and a second. Go ahead, Ganaba.
Sorry, I second it, not realizing that, are we taking education, so when the board meets for education, they're not allowed to discuss safety within education, is what this is? And we're taking safety as an entity, if it deals with education, it would still have to go to that safety board.
Ganaban, that's a good question. And no, that discussion can always fall into play if it concerns safety in a school. But I'm talking about putting safety out to the public safety side, kind of giving it more of a, not detailed, but more specific reasons. But also in the education, we still can talk about safety and all of this. And if we have to overlap into the other committees, that's what I want us to do. I want us to collaboratively work together as members of the board and the community committees. And here's why: if we don't get our committees working together side by side with the board members and this and that, then why would they volunteer? And I just thought that we had some experts that could help out in those areas. But yes, we can overlap in those areas when it comes to safety. Safety is everywhere. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Just a point of information as far as the committee overlap, just for information, like you guys do have 2 upcoming committee meetings and they're actually going to be a joint committee meeting. I believe it's the transportation and the housing and homeless committee. So joint committees is totally fine, especially when you have those kind of dual encompassing subjects.
Okay, we have a vote on a motion and a second on the floor, and we had some discussion. Everybody ready to vote? Let's take a vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, nay? Motion has been moved. Any abstention? No abstention. Okay, moving right on. Thank you guys very much for being patient out there.
Chair. Chair, on the park and recreation, can I get clarification on why recreation was removed from parks?
It hasn't been removed yet, according to Logan. Yes, it's still on the agenda here. Parks and Recreation. Yeah.
But my move to cheap recreation part of parks, being that that is a big part, and the permitting and everything that is allowed to get through the park and recreations, and that is one of the big concerns regarding parks.
Okay.
And the abuse of that's been going on, especially I mean with just with the understanding that they kind of go hand in hand.
Yes, understood. And probably that one is not going to be requested or recommended to be changed. Recreation, I do know that it falls on the park. So thank you very much, Wilbur. Yeah, appreciate that.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay. So at this time, we're going to move on to 6.2.
Oh, sorry, Chair. Now is the time when you can establish your new committees that you want and then find chairs for those on the board and then also add members.
Okay, according to this one, the environmental protection, I have a good candidate for that one. So the chairman, if she may, accept or not, would be Johnny May Perry, environmental protection. And Dr. Tenjoma will assist in that area.
So as far as designating board chairs, or I'm sorry, committee chairs, if they're not here, then they can't accept by proxy, but they can become members. But so you could just leave that committee open and then
We'll
take
leave
it
that
up next
committee
month.
open.
Yeah.
Okay, at this time, we also have ocean safety, which is a new committee, and erosion. The chairman,
One committee or two?
that's one committee. So ocean safety and erosion is, chairman is, because we need a board member to be the chairman. It's going to be myself. And then it's going to be Brian Keolana, Jason Patterson, Dr. Chinjoma, Ikaika Valderrama, Fulton Rivera.
Point of order.
Going over the committees, transportation is Tiana,
Chair.
and then Lanford, Homonaunui, Andrea Tupala. Prescribe,
Chair,
go ahead.
point of order. Apologies. In no disrespect. The rule is that chairs aren't allowed to, like neighborhood board chairs aren't allowed to chair committees.
Sorry, this is Logan. I'd have to double check on that, but I have neighborhood board chairs that serve as committee chairs.
Thank you very much.
I can
Please
double-check
go
on
and
that.
double check because there was clarifications in previous neighborhood boards on the Nanakuli Miley neighborhood board, as well as
And that's
Waianae
where I got the
neighborhood
answer
board.
from. Thank you, Crossgrab. Thank you very much. Appreciate
Hey,
that. Public
Chair,
safety.
Chair.
Go ahead, Wilbur.
Hey, I believe in that that committee. If you want, I'll be more than happy to chair that one.
What committee we're talking about? Transportation?
The ocean safety.
I got myself there. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay.
Just keep me in mind if.
But I'll put you on the committee.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Wilbur. Okay, public safety. We have myself on there, John Travis, Paula Yo, Richard Nunes, retired Hawaii Fire Department. Homeless and housing. Chair is Crab. I have Moani Kiala, Andrea Tupala, military liaison. I have myself as chair, Victor Flint, Parks and Recreation, Chairman Calais Wilbur, Richard Lanford, Austin Salcedo, Andrea Tupala, John Iokia, and David Haole. Education, Health and Welfare. Chairman is Crab. I have Terry Savaya Naea, Marie Kessinger. Hawaiian Affairs, Evie Hiao, and Agriculture, Hauka Ohu, Chairman. Salcedo Team, Rocky Nayoli, Landis Ornelas.
Chair.
Department of Permit and Planning, Chairman Ganaban, Richard Lanford, and those are all the committees. Tiana, go ahead.
So if I may, Vice Chair and Kako with Hoko, who, we discussed that earlier today in Vice Chairing with him on Hawaiian.
We can add you on that. Hang on, real quick. Tiana. Hey, Tiana. You're on there. You're the vice chair. Any questions, board members, on these new committees? Salcedo?
Homeless committee is going to be Kevin McClintock, myself, actually the Salcedo team will be for the homeless.
Homeless, hang on. I didn't cover that, yeah? So that one is Chairman Crab,
Yes,
and then I'm gonna add who?
Kevin McClintock,
Hang on,
Salcedo team.
Evan. And the Salcedo team, right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate that. Okay, we got that covered. Logan?
Yeah, just some clarity, please. Sorry, I'm trying to follow along, but so environmental protection, you would be the committee chair, the military liaison as well.
Okay, environmental protection, nobody wants, I'll take the chair, thank you.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's the one you left open. That's my mistake.
That's the open one.
And then military liaison.
Why don't we fill it right now? Because I want the business to get over with. I want to take care of some business. So I'll just put my name as chair, since nobody's volunteering as chair.
And then who was the Department of Permit and Planning Committee Chair?
Okay. That one you got on. Department of Permit and Planning is Ganaban and Lanford. Ganaban's the chair. Richard Lanford is the co-chair.
So both co-chairs, got it.
Okay, any other questions?
And then who's the Public Safety Chair?
Come on. Okay, on environmental, I got a vice chair, which will be Haukaohu.
Mr. Chair, when you have time, and you get back to board business, I'd like to have some time.
Perfect.
Thank you.
We come into that. We're gonna take a board
Okay,
business first, and then we
when-
come into
yeah,
that.
I just want to let you know you're busy. So I just want to let you know
Thank
that.
you, brother.
Thank you.
Community concerns coming up. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, let us get you this. Okay, so Logan, did we clarify that? DPP? Got it?
Permit and Planning, I got Ganaban and Lanford.
Okay.
Erosion and Safety, I got you as committee chair. And then Public Safety is the only one that.
Public safety, I got public safety. I got myself as chairman.
Okay, thank
And
you.
then, yeah, thank you very much.
So as long as everyone accepts the nominations for the chairs, then you can move to have a motion to appoint all those community members that you said. You can have a motion to add them as members.
Okay, so let's go with the chairs then. You like it? They were chosen? Say no.
Nominate Board Member Ganaban as
Chairman?
chairman for
Oh, pardon me.
DPP.
So we don't need you guys to do it again. Everyone, we've been talking about it. I have it all written down. It's all good. We don't need any more nominations. As long as everyone that was nominated accepts, we can move on to the members.
Okay, let's move on to the members. Okay. All right.
Make a motion to accept everyone as chairs. I second the motion.
Discussions?
Board Member Crab,
Go ahead, Graham.
for the Housing Committee, can we please add Lena Suzuki to the team as well, please?
Hang on. I believe she's on there. Hang on. Let me double check. Hang on.
Establish that chairs right now.
Okay.
All right, all the chairs are all good. As long as everyone accepted the nomination and no one spoke up, the committee chairs all finished. Right now, we just need a motion to add the members, the community members, as
Okay.
members of the committees.
Community members. Make a motion.
Make a motion to accept the community members.
Yep.
Second that.
For our committees.
Do you want the community members to, names to be read out or?
Yes, that would be.
I'll
if you
read
could
it.
Read them out for each committee.
Okay. There was a motion on the floor. There was a second to accept these community members to be part of the committees. Dr. Andrea Tupala, Dr. Tinjoma, Representative Darius Kila, Nanakuli Neighborhood Board Chair Samantha DeCorte, Calais Salcedo, Austin Salcedo, Joe Jordan, Uncle Buffalo and Auntie Momi Keolana, Brian Keolana, Jason Patterson, Colton Rivera, Ikaika Galderama, Moani Keala Micham, Marie Kesslinger, Harry Savaya Naea, Joe Momoa, Paul Ayo, Bruce DeSoto, John DeSoto, Ronnie DeSoto, Manny DeSoto, Rocky Nayole, Landis Onales, Willie Centello, Jerry, Russell, and Ivan Ho'omanavanui, John, Ed Mary, Minerva, Chrissy, Iokia, David Hawley, Joe and Carmen Simpliciano, John Travis, Joe Akana, Kahele Anderson, Mesana, Poani Smith. Let me get back to Mesana Eldegar, Poani Smith, Bani and Trudy Pule, Daniel Kaanana, Robert Rowland, Jason Rivers, Ben Ramos, David Aki, Billy Panui, Ivan and Donna Hopi, Wayne Harding. That's all I have on the list. Do we accept those?
My only clarification would be is, are you adding all those names to every committee?
Yes, I am. It's a blanket coverage of all the leadership in each and every district over here in Waianae. Thank you.
Just like to make a comment on that. And seeing chair, hearing chair, reading all these names, familiar faces. Happy to see the involvement of our community members stepping up to kako so that we can holomua. So I'm excited to see hearing all these names. It's my kai. Just wanted to share that.
I can do a roll call if you'd like. Okay, so the current motion is to add all the listed community members as committee members. It was made by Board Member Waianae and seconded by Board Member Ganaban. Maybe switched around. Made by Ganaban and seconded by Wahilani. Crab,
Aye.
Endo, Ganaban, Lanford. Aye, thank you. Perry, Wahilani, Blair Wilbur,
Aye.
Tiana Wilbur,
Aye.
Homo Onadu. The motion passes with a vote of 8 ayes, no noes, and no abstentions. My only request, Chair, could you please send me that list later? Thank you.
Okay, moving right along. 6.2, board partnership with DLNR, HPTH, Hawaii Fire Department, Parks, Wildlife to allow members responsible access. I believe that is because of this Maui incident that these 9 members on this board is very responsible, along with the top committee guys that's coming in to help serve on the Waianae. What? Uncle Rocky. Sana. Aloha. And just want to say that this is very important. I'm working with the police commissioners. Been in two meetings with them, and they're very glad and grateful that the Waianae board is actually taking a step forward, creating action. Very supportive of what we're doing, and I just want to say that this is very important. Hang on.
If you would like to pass this to the next agenda, it would just need a motion to just postpone this to next month.
Chair, motion. Chair, I'd like to motion that you add ocean safety to that list.
Yes, it's our committee. As long as we can get this thing passed through the board. We tried it, remember? And we took a hard stand on that because we called it being deputized, and it's too tough to say it that way. So we decided to rename it to become partnerships with the leaderships as far as the safety and the officers are concerned within those departments. So thank you very much. The committees are designed to work hand in hand and side by side.
Chair, can I make a comment?
Deputize the board.
Hang on, Crossgrab.
Thank you.
I'm trying to establish something over here. Because at the last board that we had, we kind of had a failure because again, we wasn't aware of what the board is trying to do, working in partnership with these community first responders. We're building relationships. We're creating good citizens for the community. We're training. Eventually, we can earn that respect both ways, from the top, from the bottom, from the side. And that is why I want to kind of get this on the agenda now. It's already on the agenda. I want to kind of vote on this so that we can create that relationship. And the good part about this, once we get it to be voted on and talked about within our community, the top cannot tell you, I never hear about them. We're going to hold them all accountable. Yes, you did, because we're recorded right now. And we're with the county elected. So I think this is very critical. That's why it's listed here. Thank you.
Point of clarification, are we referring to the deputization of the board members?
Yes, we are. We're talking about, we're putting it in a different language. The language we're going to use is more subtle, more easy. It's going to be called partnership. And I can take this further. I did, my letter did state to the police area commissioners that if we could get this kind of approved, please, we can have this as a pilot program to be a 2-year trial program as I chair the Waianae board. After my term is up and whatever the board wants to do, then they can have at it. But give it a try. Please don't shoot stuff down without even trying it, please. Thank you, Wilbur.
Well, another point of clarification, even if we vote on this, it is not going to be allowed by the commission. If you want to word it in a way where we can still allow those entities and individuals that want to participate outside of the neighborhood board, then that can be possible. But
I did word it that way. If you take a look at it, I said a lot of the board members.
We cannot.
A lot of the board members might deny.
Act as deputies.
Exactly. So what I did was, if you got the email, right?
I got the email.
Okay, when you read that email, if you read that letter that I wrote to the commissioners, talks about the pilot program. It talks about a volunteer program. And as we volunteer, all 9 members doesn't have to take any part in this. It can be 2 board members, because I'm going to be one of them to take the action to the road and put it on the ground. So please support me in this.
we can't be a part of the committee too, but by all means, I'm in favor of those departments having keys to those gates. And if you include ocean safety in that, then by all means, they're the ones that deal with high surf. Sometimes we
April?
can't access certain places.
Mr. Wilbur, you got it. You nailed it. You nailed it. That's where I'm moving to. We get this on voted in, and then we turn around. We trusted advisors, right? Because we were voted in. Everybody knows what we're doing. And then we turn around, we put those keys in the places that means a lot when it comes down to evacuation programs. Now, if we wait for the word wait, we got to wait for somebody to make the decision. It's gonna, I tell you, it's the chaos that everybody witnessed, Maui. It's common sense. I'm gonna bring this on up real quick. Common sense to put one siren on, run outside. Army guy, look up in the air, look to the left, look to the right, look to the back, and run away from the problem. Real simple. Thank you very much.
Chair, I would just say if there's no motion to be made on this agenda item, then there's no point in carrying out a discussion. So if there is a motion, then
Please, I need a motion in a second.
Chair, I motion to move board partnership with DLNR, HPD, HFD, and Parks and Wildlife to allow members responsible access.
Second.
Any discussions?
Yes,
Discussion.
Chair.
Discussions. Go ahead.
So if I am being asked to vote on something, if we could have our partnerships be present and share with us what is our duties or what is our guidelines in how we're gonna execute this service to our community. If they can be present so that we can have a informal vote, I would highly support that.
Oh, thank you very much for that. And here's the clarification. With that said, because you got 4 or 5 experts in the field of law enforcement, from fire department to police department to liquor control officers, if you read that letter, we would create the SOP, which stands for the Standard Operation Procedures. Waianae Board, with the expertise, is going to create standard operation procedures. As long as we fall in the guideline of the neighborhood plan, I don't see any problem. Thank you very much.
And still add that motion to put in the.
Yes, we do. It was moved and seconded. You want to vote on this? Logan, take the vote. Roll call, please.
So the current motion on the table is to have a board partnership with DLNR, HPD, HFD, and Parks and Wildlife to allow members responsible access. It was made by Tiana Wilbur, and I'm sorry, I didn't catch the second. Lonnie, thank you. Crab?
Chair, can I make a motion to the motion?
Well, clarification to that
Just,
motion.
just to clarify this, we're already in the
Can
vote.
I amend the motion?
We're already in the vote. If any discussion or amendment should have taken place.
I had a motion that went in to amend prior to this, and
What was your motion?
it was to add ocean safety to that list.
Ocean safety, again, I talked about it. It's one of our head committees.
I
It's
know, but
already-
we still have to. We still have. I.
When we create committees, Wilbur, when we create committees, we can create the committees, Wilbur, and we're gonna take care of that right here at the board
To
level.
include them in that list. If you're moving forward, you need to include them in that list before we vote.
Just to clarify, I believe what Chair is trying to say is the committees are more than welcome to be included, but these are really just outside departments of the board. As far as partnerships, you guys don't need a board partnership with your own committee. And also, there was never a second on your motion.
Point of clarification.
Tiana, we're in the middle of the
My
vote.
motion on the floor was to add the discussion with DLNR, HPD, HFD, and Parks and Wildlife to be included in this discussion so we can hear from them and what is being requested or asked of us to be a partner in this. Because if I'm gonna vote on something, I would like to know what is my responsibilities to fully service my commitment.
Tiana, you're gonna get your responsibilities from the chairman and from the county commissioner's office.
I object.
Thank you very much.
And
Point
I
of
second
There's a
order,
that.
vote on the
that is
floor,
not stated
and we're
on
I
gonna
the
take
second,
that.
I second
Point of
that.
order, Tiana. Thank you.
I second that motion before we even got to the vote.
Mr. Wilbur, hang on. We're taking a vote right now. Thank you very much.
When did you make the motion, Tiana? Wasn't it when I was already calling the vote? I believe the chair already called for any discussion and no one spoke up, but
called for
if
the
I'm
discussion.
mistaken.
Hey Logan, I second it. I don't know if you guys could have heard me on online, but I second it when she said it.
Yeah, but what I'm
Calais, we're gonna take the vote, Calais. Thank you very much. The discussion has been said. Call for the question.
The current motion on the table is to have a board partnership with DLNR, HPD, HFD, and Parks and Wildlife to allow members responsible access. Made by Tiana Wilbur and seconded by Board Member Waianae. Crab,
Aye.
Endo,
Aye.
Gannabon, Lanford, Barry, Wahilani, Kalei Wilbur,
Aye.
Tiana Wilbur, Homo Wanoon. The motion passes with 6 ayes, no nos, and 2 abstentions.
Okay, at this time, 6.3, board business. I just want a discussion on this. From your chairman, identifying leadership during emergency situations to purchase two-way radios, specify rally points, locations, organize boat owners, along with shore coast and practice evacuation routes, etc. I believe this is very important. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Chair. Pardon me the interruption. Just wanted to ask Kalei regarding the last agenda item, the board partnership. I was under the impression that you meant the Ocean Safety Committee on the Waianae Coast Neighborhood Board. Are you talking about the Ocean Safety Department?
No, I was talking about adding the ocean. He doesn't have ocean safety on that list.
Are you talking about the Ocean Safety Department or your committee on the Waianae Coast Board?
Adding ocean safety as a department to
Okay.
accompany that list that he has with DLNR.
Okay, I understand. So you're talking about something outside of the board. So just
Outside of the committees.
So just before we move on to the next agenda item, Chair, I would just recommend, now that we've dealt with the first
Okay.
motion, if you would like,
We can vote on it.
I would, yeah, if you want to entertain a motion to
Okay.
also have a partnership with Ocean Safety.
I'm gonna bring it to the expert. Brian Keolana, you're involved with the ocean safety and the ocean safety department, correct? Okay. Would you accept to add the ocean safety department outside of the committee on the Waianae board to be part of the partnerships? Let us know. If you do, we're just gonna vote on that and bring the ocean safety on.
Yeah, we all work hand in hand, right? You know, ocean safety, HFD, HPD, everybody one family and stuff too. So getting ocean safety involved is gonna help. So I say, yeah.
Thank you, Brian. He did say yes. Thank you, Mr. Wilbur. Oh, I thought you was talking about the committees, but you was going to the department.
No.
It was moving seconded, Wilbur. Moving seconded.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Who's the motion made by?
Tiana in motion, and then Wilbur.
No, I motion. She's
Wilbur
second.
and Wilbur. To
So
bring the-
Tiana with the motion and.
Yeah, yeah. Calais was the motion and Tiana was the second. And so we're going to bring about the Ocean Safety Department. Thank you very much, Brian, for clarifying that. Okay, we have a motion. We have a motion on the floor. It has been moved and seconded that we bring on the department. We went through the discussion. So should we vote on it? You want to take roll call or you want to all ayes? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Any abstentions? The ayes have it. Thank you very much.
Just clarifying, mine's is abstention. I would have liked a discussion on it.
I,
Please send-
I can note that down.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. So back to 6.3, real quick. With these committees, the idea is to identify leadership in those committees. As you've seen the list go down in front of you, those are very worthy people in the community, hand selected, volunteered. At that time, we're going to be discussing in each committee as we designed it tonight to talk about specific issues. We're going to choose the leadership. We're going to try to place two-way radios in their hand, because you all know that cell sites go down in a case of an emergency. We all know that. I've been through that many times. So I would like the county to fund the product for Waianae board. And that would be two-way radios going into leadership hands. People from Makaha, in that neighborhood, people from Waianae, Makaha Valley, all these areas, as well as choosing, making sure that we get a hold of the boat owners. In case there's an emergency, a fire in Waianae Valley, Farrington Highway is going to be blocked up, standstill, guaranteed. Nobody can come down Nanakuli Avenue to make the left to get out of Dodge. They're going to come down Waianae Valley, Farrington Highway is going to be plugged. So with that said, we identify the leadership, we talk about it, we have discussions intimately with the committees that are set up and designed for itself. This board is going to rock and roll. Boat owners, go out to your boats, grab your boats, line up the whole Waianae coast. Brian, I need all the water guys out there. In case of an emergency, I need these guys picking up our people and our kupunas and our children and all our ohana out there so we can save them. Waianae going to take care of evacuation plans. Waianae going to take care of everything. This board right here, there's 9 members going to help me take care of that, along with the 35 plus community members that we're probably going to get 35 more on the next meeting that we got to vote for over and over and over again as we see this thing prevailing through the process. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is practice evacuation routes. So once we get this design and we put the radios in the leadership's hand, I want the leadership to go in every neighborhood. You know your neighbors. Maka, you've been over there 40, 50 years. You know everybody that live in your neighborhood. The disorders know everybody down there too. Get these guys involved, say, hey, you know what? In case of emergency, this is what we're going to do. This is where we're going to meet. Rally points. Anybody understand rally points? Yes, military does. In case you get overrun by the enemy, you go to rally point 1. If that rally point is overrun, you go to 2, 3, 4, and so forth. Eventually, I would like to try and exercise what we do. Go to these gates that we're going to open up access on all these roads. Open the lock to see if it works. Not wait for the day come of the fire and somebody's keys got lost and somebody will change the lock. We're not going to have that over here in Waianae, okay? Moving right along.
Chair.
6.4. Go ahead.
Chair, may I redact my vote?
Go-
And I changed my vote to aye. That's the transparency and discussion I wanted. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. You changed your vote to aye.
I'm sorry, what was, in regards to the past agenda item?
Yes, 6.3, identifying leadership. I wanted to know where we are getting this funding and things from, and he just clarified all of that. So thank you.
Yes, Tommy Waters is the chairman of the county. And he said, if you can show me how you use your money, I'm going to give you more money. Thank you very much. Tiana, you're going to be one of the leaders, so you're going to be out there giving them. So thank you very much. Okay, postponing Makaha Bridge closure. Detour for Bridge 3, that's 6.4, board business. The reason why I bring this up, I did attend the meeting. Tiana attended the meeting. Joe Jordan was there at the meeting. Salcedo's was there at the meeting. Brian was there at the meeting. I requested and recommended not an extension, but a postponement. And then I heard some feedback saying, hey, Brother Jonathan, the wave's going to be big in 2 months. We got to get the stuff done. Fine. I'm fine with that. But I want these guys, I want to hold businesses and organizations accountable. When you make decisions that's going to affect the livelihood of Makaha, bring this up real quick. Retired Richard Nunes, captain, Nanakuli Fire Department, told me, Jonathan, they're not going to close that bridge. I said, why? He said this. He said, Jonathan, they got to put on substation over there. I'm sure all of you got to agree with that. that is the smartest thing to do. If any fire happen over there, any HPD need to be all across the bridge, they're not gonna run across that bridge. Too late already. So we need to respond with action. Makaha Bridge, you guys know that I'm hearing that tonight there's a meeting, but I'm pushing for postponement because I want it to be carefully planned. We're gonna cost too much money. We know that. We know that, but not our money. Our lives worth more than the money. Remember that. Always the example. I'm gonna bring that up all night when we talk about safety. We close that bridge and somebody over there get burned in that fire. I'm sorry, not gonna work. Okay, take it from this board members. Livestock management and feral animal concerns. That's why we did the number 2 partnership. I want all the leadership involved to know that we are going to go out, take pictures, write reports, train our officers, elected officials who wants to be trained, who volunteers like our committees, who volunteered willingly, stepping forward. We're going to help them get organized and provide them with the proper tools. All we got to do is write the letter to Tommy Wallace. Discussions, pending projects or permits for, this is 6.6, the pending projects or permits for new homeless shelter in Makaha. Sir, now is your time. Come on, Uncle.
So, the homeless shelters you folks are pending. I need to know what kind of shelters are you folks advocating for?
Kind of shelters we're talking about? I think all of us went to the meeting at Mr. Endo's place, as well as I think Mr. Salcedo. If I give him 2 minutes, he can discuss this topic if he's still here. If Mr. Salcedo is not here, that's fine. Okay. What kind of shelters are we talking about, brother? You're deep in it.
Okay, this houses shelters actually is a religious organization, nonprofit. Apparently, the information I got, they never got a permit issued for opening up these operations. It's a 40-acre parcel. Mr. Ken Suiso actually is targeting this thing, but we all entered this meeting. It's a proposal, and the only outreaching to the to the community itself. It's only discussion itself. They're trying to prime the committee of what their intentions is, because they were given the property, 40 acres. But the community that lives in the area is opposing. They're opposing this this plan, because apparently they want to build small little homes, but there's a flood. Mr. Suiso had mentioned there's a flood problem that area, and community members say that when the heavy rains come down, it's a flood area. So there's an opposing community on this thing. So that's what I gathered, and community is not supporting this.
Okay, Logan.
Yeah, just as far as the land parcels in Makaha, I believe this is the same topic. I've been in contact with Ken Suiso as well. Yes, the 3 land parcels. It would have been part of the mayor's report tonight, but obviously it's not on the agenda. But I have a memo that was released to the board members, and I can read what came back from the mayor's office regarding this topic. It says a resident asked about the status of any pending projects or permit applications to 3 land parcels in Makaha, and it has 3 parcel numbers: one at 84-597 Makaha Valley Road, another on Makaha Valley Road, and then the last one on Halavaha. And these 3 land parcels, the response that came back from the Department of Planning and Permitting was that there are no pending projects or applications on any of those parcels.
Okay. What we're concerned about is the medical aspect of the project. And please, let's not have that. Yeah. We have a lot of children here in Waianae. Yeah. I'm not sure you folks have children.
You're right.
I have 21 grandchildren and 10 great grandchildren. Yeah. And of course, many of us have a lot of grandchildren here in Waianae. We trying to be an agricultural community. Now, of course, as you know, realtors have different ideas. You know, they're inflating our community. So,
Uncle, we're
as
working
much
on
as
that.
possible, the folks of our leaders.
We're working on that, Uncle. Thank you.
As much as possible, please try not to. Medical
Facility. I got you, Uncle.
Please help to pick up.
We're fighting that fight already. We already deep in some emails going back and forth. So you're gonna hear it. Thank you.
Because it happens. Homeless that it now.
Yes,
if
Uncle.
you know that
I know.
they take off from there. They take off from their
The house, and then they go out 8 hours and they come back.
They brought them here. Saving our community. We're not doing well.
Thank you, Uncle. We're not like
We need
assume.
help.
You're right. But I'm with you, Uncle. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you. Okay, we got discussion on Bill 39. I hope Auntie's here. Dr. Andrea Tupola. She's online or she here? Oh, come on, Auntie. You get him. Okay. Sister, because
Hello, Chair. Hello, board members. Hello, community members. Okay, let's do this. So we're going to go over Bill 39, which is the specific request from myself to the board, just so that we can figure out what the community thinks about this. So my letter to the chair, as well as to all of you, I'm just going to read it out loud for everyone. I said, Dear Chair, Waianae Coast neighborhood board members, please see the following documents in regards to Bill 39 relating to real property taxation exemption. So there were two departmental communications. The first one was 555 from the Director of Budget and Fiscal Services. So the question that people had asked was, how much would a proposal like this cost? And the proposal on Bill 39 is not like an exemption or a waiver. It's a full exemption of no paying property taxes at all. So just for clarity, nobody on this whole island gets that, nobody. So we have like low income, we have minimum property tax cost, but no one has zero property taxes. Moving on. The next departmental communication is 581. That was also from the Director of Budget and Fiscal Services, outlining how many parcels would be in this proposal, which is somewhere around like 7,300 for where the PVT one is, and then Waimanalo Gulch was, I think, 1,200. So you can read that. The third thing included is the current bill, which was not written by myself. It was written by Councilmember Tommy Waters and proposed by him, even though it's in our community. Just FYI, I've never written a bill for his community, but I guess this was okay, right? Even though nothing was run by me or by the neighborhood boards. Number 4 was a letter from the Nanakuli Neighborhood Board Chair outlining their position in opposition. Last week, the Kapolei Neighborhood Board took a position to support the intent of helping those people who had been affected by landfills to have some type of tax exemption. So here's some of the outstanding concerns that we have. How do I, as the district council member, tell people outside the 1 mile radius that their health and that they don't matter and that they won't get an exemption? It's going to be impossible for me because the landfills have affected everyone. There was a landfill right here in Waianae for 60 years, actually. What about those people? So I'm concerned as the area representative that if there was any type of benefit, it should be for everybody, right? Because I can't pick and choose, oh, within the 1 mile, you guys all count, outside the 1 mile, no count. Like, I can't do that. Secondly, my concern is because no one has a full property tax exemption, will the county discontinue services to people who pay zero property taxes? I don't know if they will, because by paying zero property taxes, that means that you're not contributing, right? So will they cut garbage services, street light? I don't know, because we've never done this. Third, will the tax exemption encourage the current administration to keep asking for extensions on the landfill and keep it right where it is. Because they said they're going to relocate it, but they're coming forward with their third ask of an extension because they have no place to put it. Last one. Will the exemption from taxes encourage investors to buy up land in the area and change our community? That was brought up by Cassandra. So these are just concerns. So I wrote it in here. I gave you guys all the paper. I can answer any questions, but it's time for you guys to deliberate. You guys deliberate, and hopefully by the end of this, if you can, according to the discussion, decide on your position.
Right. Andrea Tavola, just some clarification. I want to make the public clear. If you ever served in the military in Vietnam or any Southeast Asia platform, the federal government pays for any health conditions for the rest of your life, along with monetary compensation. In that case, if the city tries to move this forward, they're setting themselves up to that situation as well. They will be embedded to pay for a lot of these medical expenses that can occur. Because just because the studies aren't done right now, there is studies being done. It just hasn't been brought forward. So just kind of bringing that to the era there.
It's a good point. And we had asked that because aside from the landfill, we also have the wastewater treatment. There's also other places that are pretty polluted that the city runs. So how do we quantify what is the most dangerous thing for health? Again, I go back to, I can't pick and choose. If there's a benefit, it has to be for all. But by giving a benefit, what are we going to be giving up? Because the city services are already lacking.
Board, any more questions from the board members? If not, Tupala, thank you for everything that you're doing. Stand by. Okay, go ahead, Kakoko.
You comment on, thank you, Councilwoman Tupala. I truly believe in, inclusiveness, and we all should, Waianae, Moku. I just think that inclusiveness, because we come from our kupuna that was always about we, not I. So, just think that it should be all of us.
And just for clarification, during the first hearing they had, people were standing up saying, we stand with the people of Nanakuli. FYI, the 1 mile radius not even reach Nanakuli. So let's be real. If we're drawing a 1 mile radius, if you live in our community, you know exactly where it's going to hit and where it's not.
Oh, okay. Anybody else on the board? 5 years in a row, I testify in Congress on behalf of 2.7 million members of veterans of foreign wars. Took 55 long years to approve the Blue Water Act. The Blue Water Act has a 500-mile radius from Vietnam to the ocean side. 500-mile radius. If you win in the 500-mile radius, you get these benefits. The veterans, same like Donovan was saying, you do receive compensation for the rest of your life because of all the ailments and all the things that you can't qualify for. So talking about a half mile or 1 mile and all of that, I tell you right now, people think about this. That Vietnam, 55 long years, but see, Ganaban said something very critical. He talked about that you're going to open up a new can of worms because once you do that, they're going to have everybody coming inside talking about health issues. They're going to have to create something, an act, just like they did. Okay, so look at the new act that came up. I mean, I'm involved with all these guys. I still represent veterans in the Court of Veteran Appeals. But Andrea, thank you so much. This can affect you with your health, our families, the Ohana. I mean, military is good. We had no choice. I served. Ganaban served. We all served. We no more choice because at that time we didn't have monies to put on the table. So we went away and we served the public. But it's not a good place to be when all these chemicals are flying all around. I'll give you an example. The VA top-notch guy comes downstairs. He tells me, I've been in here 37 years. Not a problem. Went through his testimony, and I asked him, sir, can you tell me which way the wind blows? He said, no. I said, this is an Air Force guy, right? Yeah. How many aircrafts you work on? I work on this. When the turbine engine blows, stand behind it at the airport now. That's why they get all these barriers to block all the air coming out of the turbine engines. Then he said one critical thing. He said, but you got to be boots on ground. And these are the kind of stuff that we're going to take steps to. So the county better really think about what they're doing. Do it right. Okay, but the people, we need the people to do it right with us. And it is the people that's going to give us the answers so that we can figure out what position we're going to lie on. That's the problem. He said this, boots on ground, not a problem. I said, okay, where you got to be? He said, you got to be off of the flight line. I said, brother, you get maintenance building? He tell me, yeah. I said, you put guard duty? He tell me, every night. Where you walk? I walk around the perimeter. We won the case, $280,000. 3 months the veteran lived in Maui. And he passed away. Oh, Rocky, you know that. Very much. Proscribe, go ahead.
Clarification to Councilmember Tupola. Is it also true for the bill that if like it's only the exemption is only for active landfills as well? Like, because aren't they planning to close the landfill soon too? So like even if they were able to establish this, the people who quote unquote were affected wouldn't be receiving any compensation because or any type of compensation because the landfill was already closed.
Yes. So across the wording of the current bill says active landfill, of which due to Act 73, PBT is due to close down in a few years. So that wouldn't benefit that area. This is again where the ambiguity is, right? Is if people have suffered health concerns, real health concerns, we start with the oldest landfill, the one that was in Waianae. And then we go from there, right? But then again, if there are health concerns, then does the Department of Health pay that out as opposed to a property tax exemption where the property taxes are used for city services? My concern, and thank you, Cross, for asking that question, is I don't want legislation that's going to divide our community.
Thank you.
Any other board members? Mr. Endo? Wilbur? Community?
Well,
Just on Cassandra Werner, just on the bill 39 that she's talking about, I think that it's a good time for the communities to start having discussions with each other and get prepared to be beside her, behind her when she's up there fighting for the, saying no. And I agree with the health issues because I have many kupuna who passed away from Nanakuli Valley. A lot of them was from cancer, all different kinds of cancer. Everybody was from Nanakuli, all my elders. So we gotta say no, and I don't think they like us to take it back that far. You know what I mean? So yeah, let's start the conversation and get it going.
Thank you, Cassandra. Hogan? Okay. Any other? Mr. Endo? Mr. Endo?
Years ago, when PVT had started, never had no dust screen, never had controls, and my safety committee got wind of people in below PVT were getting sick. I mean, the whole community was getting sick, and so we had big meeting at the Baptist church. And I don't know if people can pull up the records from way back then, but we had meetings after meetings. And you know how corrupt the system is. Even though the doctors were saying it's unusual for all these residents below PVT to be coming down with all these sicknesses, our corrupt people came down and said, there's no proof the stuff coming from PVT caused those sicknesses. What they never know too was the Nanakuli High School, one of the science classes decided to do a sample of the canal. And they found all kind of toxic stuff. all the toxic stuff was traced back to PVT. Shortly after that, the dust screens came up. The liners went into place, but the residents, wow, nothing. So Andrea, something. I mean, lot of them, a lot of those residents died already, but still there's some still suffering.
Well, and Ulihava Canal is super polluted. So in general, where Ulihava Canal touches, which is all the way back to Sac and Save, all the way back behind Princess Kanu Lake, it's plenty people besides a 1 mile radius. And you know, I do think that that's the issue here, right? Is if we're talking about health concerns, which go back really far, there's no way I can divide up a geographical line to say this is why these guys are sick. 1 mile around, all you guys good to go. I don't know. I just can't do it.
First of all, Andrea, your council chair, Tommy, Uncle Tommy, should have went through the proper procedures, utilize the chain of command. But hear that word? You respect that leader. They hold the position. Utilize the chain of command, and then you work from there upward and downward. And that's the first thing that should have happened, Andrea. You said something very critical at the very beginning, and that was they didn't go through you at all. So I'll say that. Thank you very much. Any other board members? Take your name, sister.
Aaron County Ayala. I want to clarify that military don't pay taxes, okay? I don't think they pay water, okay? Your health, most people pay for health insurance. They get the state insurance, the crappy of the crappy. You know, anything that you come over on an airplane from, you know, anywhere, you can get this kind of insurance. So, and you have to pay now. You have to pay for the lenses or the frames. So there's more people that don't pay taxes. What about all these, the garbage dump? They don't pay taxes. Who's paying for all these people traveling on what's that called? Holy. Who's paying for those taxes? Okay. So not everybody pays taxes.
We're working on that, Auntie, and with due respect, you're talking about active duty military. Active duty military, they have this BOQ called the basic quarters or officers' quarters. So every month they give up $2,700 back to the government so that they can live on government property. And then you're right. So the water they use a mop, the washer dryer. Yeah, we spoiled when we was. But anyway, we all know that. And then when you come outside and when you retire from the military, now we're paying water because I pay water and everything else. So I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you very much. Hurry up, Uncle.
Okay.
1 minute.
Tomorrow, we need your help. Tomorrow, they're going to make a decision about taking away our parking spaces or outside of our property. You know, our public property? You know the parking that we have along our public property? It's called Bill 20. Yeah? Bill 20. And what it is in Kalihi, they plan it.
Uncle, this is a community concern.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on.
Concern.
Okay, go ahead.
And it's about our public parking. Like Lanikai?
We're talking about the landfill stuff, yeah?
No.
Not yet.
Nothing to do with landfill.
Okay, good, Uncle.
It's about our public parking.
We're going to finish up with landfill and then I'm going to call you up. Hang on. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. We're going to finish up landfill. We're still on the agenda on landfill with the Bill 39, Uncle. Not on community. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Okay, Uncle. All right.
Let's give up.
Okay, almost. Any other discussions on Bill 39? Okay. Uncle, I'm going to call you right on. Okay. All right, here we go. Board members, any other questions?
Chair. It's clear.
Board Member Wilbur? Oh, Chair said to call on the next person. You have a
Thank you.
question for a council member, right?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Wilbur.
Thank you, Chair. I just out of curiosity, Red Hill has spill catastrophe. It hits them social media, news goes crazy. They spend millions of dollars to assess that, build tanks in off-site so that they can defuel. And yet that happened within the last what, 2-3 years. And here's something that we're dealing with for over 20-30 years, and nothing helping us with the landfill situation. I don't know. I seem that I see it very unfair to the Nanakuli residents, to the Waianae commuters, and the Maili commuters, Makaha commuters. It just doesn't make sense, and the numbers don't add up. This is a point that you could probably bring to the table in your next committee meeting. That's my concern there.
No, I agree. And I think that if there was a piece of legislation proposed from our committee, it would say, get the landfill out of our community ASAP and no more extensions. That's what it would say. It wouldn't say anything else. It wouldn't ask, like, so I think that's where my concern is, that I hear the community, we all agree on this. So I don't want to bring up a piece of legislation that we don't agree on because it's not from us. So we all agree the landfills need to get out of our community. Okay, how do we expedite that? Let's just focus on that instead of taking little handouts and making this thing drag on for another 50 years and stay in Waianae because they just keep getting extensions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Enti kapua. Kiliiko, kamai.
Yeah, mahalo. I agree with Councilwoman Tupola. We need to let the rest of this island know this landfill has been extended way too long already. So we don't want any buyouts, because the buyout would only cover for the harm that's already been done. It doesn't speak to the harm that's yet to be done. And in addition to the health, our well-being of every time that we drive past this, our mental well-being is affected, because why is this still here? We need to get back to where if each community were to carry their own load, then they would recognize what we are talking about. But that's the problem. Other communities have not carried their share of the load of living properly. In the old days of Ahupua'a, we used to work together. You took care of yourself in a holistic way. And when you had needs that extended beyond your Ahupua'a, you would work with your neighbors. But the other communities, many other communities are dependent upon us. And so it's time for us to stop enabling that dependency and have them close it up, look for better technology, and whatever it needs to be. But the 1 mile is not going to work. It is a 96792 benefit. It is a Ko'olina benefit. It's, Maka Kilo Kapole, whomever else wants to jump into this. But for us that have to pass through that every day and live through it, past all of these years of extensions, for them to think that they can buy us out, we need to set them straight. We will not be sold out. We will not be bought out. They need to do their job. And I just thank Councilwoman Tupola for making that point, and we stand behind you, babe. Mahalo nui, because we object, we object, we object. Mahalo.
Thank you. Does the board at this time want to entertain a motion?
Well, first, council member question, how do we go about making an amendment to this, measure as far as changing the 1 mile radius and who it, helps? Or even us shutting it down completely, like what is our proper steps that, like, what is a route we should go, or do we just
So
oppose this?
I guess, a couple steps forward, right? Is if we were to make it where from Honokai Hale all the way in gets a benefit, right? Say we talked about that. That benefit to me, in order to not severely affect city services, would be like a one-time $100 tax credit, which people would be like, rubbish, that one. You know what I mean? So the more we spread it out, the more it's not gonna really like help anybody. And then of course, people are gonna feel slighted, like, wow, that's all I get for having the landfill in my community, a one-time 100, even though that might equal 10 million that the city would take a hit in revenue, right? So I think that's where I kind of took a step back and I was like, is there a better proposal on the table? Because how do we decrease or make less how important this is to our community? It's almost like a catch-22, because if I decrease that credit, then I'm telling people in my own community that this doesn't matter, but it does. It does matter. And I don't want to be put in a position where we have to take a huge hit on city services all in our area where we need more city services because we want a real property tax credit. That's why I appreciate what Mr. Ganaban said, because if it's health things, is there a different fund that can help with those health costs? And that's not coming out of the city, right? And then how do we get to the point where, like Auntie Kapua said, that no step forward that we take gives any type of surrender flag, because we're not surrendering. We're not getting off of this. It's not okay that it's still in our community, and it's not okay that they're asking for another extension.
So, Chair, I put a motion on the floor to accept council member's proposal in not supporting that, what is being presented as for Bill 39.
I second motion.
Sorry, just some clarification. So you're making a motion to not support, to support it.
Her decision in not.
I think it would have to be, they would have to oppose Bill 39. Yeah. Because I would need to take it back to the council and
Okay.
say, hey, these are what the
I'll
main
restate the
supports.
motion. Chair, I move to motion in opposition to Bill 39.
I second the motion.
It has been moved and seconded that we oppose Bill 39. Discussion, discussion, discussion. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Nay? Any abstentions? The motion has been passed. Okay, moving right along. 6.8 talks about sound meter. Hang on.
Comment one last thing on this.
Go ahead.
That, we have to oppose for the reason, Cassandra Werner, for the reasons of like, our community is a cycle, right? We teach the kids to fish, the kids learn how to fish, they feed their families forever. If we continue to allow the pollution to stay in our community, we're continuing to pollute the oceans, we're continuing to pollute the agriculture land that Waianae is known for. And in that sense, we just gonna continue to pollute. Even if they give us money now, it doesn't matter, because when my kids still live here, it's gonna be done.
Thank you, Cassandra. I really appreciate you and everything you do. Okay, 6.8 talks about sound meter and report writing. That will come up in our Public Safety Committee. Moving right along, we don't have to vote on that one. Adoption to changing the oral testimony rules. At this time, I'm not gonna conduct that because I still think that we can keep the oral testimony rules the same, Logan. And at the same time, we'll have our committees established. So when the public comes up to talk about it, So there's gonna be change again to agenda. We may go back to putting oral testimony up front, and here's why we're gonna put it back up front. Because now we got the committee's design, see how all this work. Then you'll come, you go up to the mic, you state your, for example, I got a traffic issue, I got an education issue, I got a parks issue, I got an environmental issue, I got a department and permitted planning. And that is why tonight was very crucial in accepting how we designed the Waianae board, different from all the others, because everybody's environment area is different. It's not a one size fits all, put it that way. So with that said, it's really simple. We're moving right along, passing the sound meter and the report writing training that will be done with the specific committees. And then 6.9, adoption of changing the oral testimony rules. We don't have to do that now. We got everything organized. We got all the committees organized. We got the people. They're going to have their microphone free to talk to speak on. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I actually recommended putting this back on just because of a conversation I had with Chair, and it's only because of you guys don't currently have any time limits established for speakers, and so that was the only reason that I recommended to put it back on.
Okay, so we do have it back on, correct? It's already on. Or are we going to vote on it says adoption of changing oral testimonies.
Yeah, because all you guys have currently is the asking community members to fill out the community concerns form and then submit that. You guys don't have any time limits established. You don't have any letting the chair kind of defer whether something goes over. Yeah, that was the only reason.
Okay. So are you telling us, Logan, that we should vote on changing or adopting testimony rules and make it 2 minutes?
I'm just saying if you guys wanted to, then that now would be the time.
Board members, how you feel? You want to keep it loosely, or you want to put the 2-minute clock on them? It's up to you guys on the board. Let me know if you want to entertain a motion.
A motion that we put a time limit. 2 minutes does sound fair. The thing is, we just got to clarify that it's not about sharing life story, but a concern. Quick and to the
Thank you. So we gotta move in. We need a second, please.
I motion the time limit to be 2 minutes for community speaking.
That's a second because Khalil Wilbur made a motion.
Okay, so that would be
Ganaban made a second. Okay, we have a first and a second.
Can we have discussion,
And
please?
discussion? Go ahead.
Board Member Crab, I also think we should discuss really quickly if we should have 2-minute times for board members as well. I understand that we want to have for the community for the sake of time constraints and efficiency, but I also feel like we should be holding ourselves to the same standards as the community and have for ourselves as well. Not saying that we can't go back and forth after the 2 minutes. It would just be up to the board.
Okay, thank you. So it was moved and seconded that we allow the public to speak 2 minutes and share their concerns with the board. And I feel that it's appropriate. At this time, I don't think we should, the way I heard it is to give the board members only 2 minutes to speak also. I think we have a lot of experience up here, a lot to share with the community, a lot to talk about. And so thank you, Crab. Thank you very much. Any other discussions? Discussions? All those in favor with the 2-minute rule? Go ahead, Logan. Okay, go ahead. Wilbur?
Kapua is online. Got somebody online.
Kapua? Is that a
Mahalo,
board
Chair.
member? Is that a board member? No. We have a motion on the floor. Can we take you after?
Yep.
After we approve it?
Yep.
Okay, we take you after. Thank you very much. Okay, since there's no discussion, all those in favor?
Clarification. Board Member Cross, were you putting a motion on the floor to add that to the motion?
That was a discussion.
Or
And I was muted. No, I wasn't. If I want to do that, I can do that after. It's okay. We can move on with this motion.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed, nay? Any abstentions? The motion is carried. 2 minutes. All the community concerns. Okay, moving right along. Hang on, we're almost there, brother. One more. Okay, approval of the initial convening meeting written summary for video record, Tuesday, July 11th, 2023. Any board members want to make a motion for that?
Chair, I motion to move and accept or approve the meeting minutes for Tuesday, July 11th, 2023.
Any second?
I second the motion.
Gannabon second the motion. There's a motion, move and second on the floor to approve the minutes. Any discussions? Therefore, no discussions. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Nay. Any abstentions? The ayes have it. Thank you very much. Moving right along. Item 7, committee reports and membership. Transportation, Tiana.
So if we have any concerns or would like updates for the Makaha Bridge closure, it is still scheduled for the 3-day closure on September 29th. For September 5th, the weekend of September 15th, it is postponed to early October. But there's a lot more updates. Community has brought valid concerns to DOT and the contractors, and they are considering all of those concerns as far as if there was a brush fire, how can we set up or work with even the military to have their fire trucks present on the east or west end of the bridge. So there's a lot of updates coming on Tuesday next week. And that is going to be our combined committee or joint committee meeting with Cross Crab with housing.
Thank you, Tiana, for that. Housing and Homeless Committee, Cross Crab. Report, please.
Yes, just reiterating what board member Tiana Woodward said, we're going to be having our meeting. It's going to be a joint meeting just for this meeting as of right now. It'll be joint next Tuesday. In this meeting, we'll also be discussing preferences on how we want our subcommittees to be held moving forward. So if you have your opinions on how you want to be involved in the meetings, please feel free to come by and give your opinions. We're always open to the public commentary. So again, if you have transportation issues as well as housing homeless issues, please come and stop by. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair,
Yeah, go ahead.
if I can just clarify, it'll be at the Waianae, we know it as the satellite. So 6:30 is the start time at our Waianae DMV satellite in their conference room. So 6:30 to 9.
With that said, I have an announcement for all of you that's here tonight. Please advise all your other friends and family members that because we had designed the committees there sitting on that table, if you have a specific issue, go up to the committee, put your name down, put your contact down so that they can contact you. And that, like Tiana was saying and Cross Crab was saying, intimate meetings, it's going to be much smaller, easier to control because it's specifically talking about the issues that you bring or that the community has. So thank you very much. With that said, Hawaiian Affairs, Kako Ohu had to leave. He had to go pick up his son, but they'll be submitting their agenda to me and then to the county for approval so that they can get their meetings going also across the street at the DMV Center. Parks and Recreation, Calais Wilbur, Richard Lanford, please report on that if you have some.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Park, we're gonna have our first meeting is going to be, sorry, I gotta check my, Logan, the first meeting, did I set it? I set up for the last week of Thursday.
Yeah,
Last
Calais.
Thursday.
Yeah, so you submitted an agenda to me for the September 26th here at Waianae District Park for the first Parks and Rec Committee meeting. At this time, the facility hasn't been confirmed, so it's not on the docket right now. But I am willing to do another mail out as soon as we confirm that date here. So as of right now, you can expect it, but it's not finalized right now.
Okay, thank you. And then moving forward from there, our meetings will be the second Tuesday of every month moving forward thereafter.
Thank you, Calais. Appreciate that. Okay, moving right along. because this agenda says education and safety. Cross grab, Calvin Endo, report please. Thank you.
Mr. Endo, do you want to go first? Or you have anything? You can go.
No. Go ahead.
For me, I was in preparation to plan a education and safety committee. I was kind of with the everything happening with the current fire meetings right now. I was waiting till after all of this already community meetings that have been already taking place to finish and gather, the consensus and everything to host one after. But I think with some of the education, health, and well-being conversations, we can just have that inside that meeting as well later, and also move or
That's
forward
fair.
any concerns to the public safety committee in the future.
Not a problem. You can continue to talk about the safety and thing. We can be flexible on that piece because you know what it entails. And you have the authority from the board as a chairman of that committee and with Wim Stando to talk about those things. So there's no
Thank you.
constraints when it comes down to safety. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, moving right along, guys. I'm very sorry. We changed the agenda a few times to kind of get stuff done. Elected officials. Any community concerns? Before you stand up there, take them straight to the table after your 2 minutes and go see auntie and uncles over there because they're going to write your name down and make sure that you commit to what you're seeing over here. Thank you, Brother Eli. Aloha.
You know what? This is supposed to be for the community, yeah, community concerns. You know what? When had you a new board member, you know what I mean? But I will set presence we are where the community speak first before any business. But you guys just like the state. They work for us, all of us. So community concerns should be number one.
Exactly.
Number one on that list. So you write the list, put community concerns first. Because I don't like wait here all night. You know what I'm saying? Because I wake up 3 o'clock for good work. And I still be here dozing. And people leaving. And they cannot get their concerns across. And be part of this community.
Yes.
I'll be here 46 years, I know. Okay, my concerns is the mountain, okay? Eric, is crying for money for do his stuff. But like I said, where that money went, 250,000. You said the Department of Forestry and Wildlife can use them. So then how he made his fences for the sheep. Okay? Now how he made his road inside that ranch, that illegal road. That's what I like to know, where the money went. But the dealer now went spend them? Oh, Eric went spend them. Who? We gotta have answers. I tired of coming to the board, and this is like 4 months already. I've been here, and Eric never show because I gotta have the reason why he made one road up there. You cannot make it right next to a stream, Punana Ula stream. That's environmental impact statement, and you guys said the what is her name? The mayor rep or somebody said that they never have no environmental impact statement, no permit, no grading license. So who will build that road? I like no, because the road go kind of far, And then we never talked to the military yet. I like give them some too. But you guys should read Harris's dossier. You guys never read that. You guys should read Harris's paper when he gave them to you guys. You guys gotta read them. Gotta read all his stuff. Then you guys talk about the fire break now. But I take care. Well, you guys seen the fire already, huh? Where the water come from? I think come from the mountain, right? Mount Kaya. So that's what I take care. Somebody only get me and Harris doing. Where the volunteer? I've been volunteer for 5 years. 5 years in that mountain. And now get plans of Eric's plans. I don't know, sheep. I don't know. Rubber. And then that's all I get. Probably I get some more on my mind.
Eli, you got it. So this agenda was changed this way and so that we could get board business organized so that we
Yeah,
can
yeah.
put the committee. That's all. But you're going to get the thing back to the normal. Going to put you guys up front first.
Yeah, 'cause
But
I'm
without
tired.
without the organization, we cannot
Yeah,
take
yeah.
your solutions. But I get you, brother. I know. Go ahead.
About that building, they was gonna build that homeless shelter. That's on the side over there by Makaya. I think so. Chin Ho owned that place. So what? They're selling them to those people, the church or whatever. That, you know, you go up by the surf side over there, your gate, they're sticking all the rocks. I know that's what they do. Take all the puhakus and then they make what rock walls. Just like up here, Piliukan, there's no, and then plus two, get you know, over there by the ranch, on the side of the ranch, if you go by Angel's Junkyard, you go up there, they sell the property, but had rock walls and stuff. Had there's sites, but there's no they call that not inspectors, but oh, you know, when you start moving around rocks, they're supposed to have somebody over there watching. But they run over the whole land over there.
The survey
Angel's
should be
Junkyard.
done. Yeah, the surveyors
Yeah.
should be out there.
No, then over there on the land that Eric them get, I see them guys moving dirt around where they're supposed to not be running over nothing because they're not. They
DPP is Ganaban and Uncle Lenford, so they're going to help you specifically. I like that. All that is important to this community. But Ganaban Demicha, he read in all his
yeah, because
notes.
there's historic preservation up there.
And then
whole
Kauka will
ranch.
come inside with that overlapping perfect committee.
That whole ranch.
Okay.
Nobody stay over there watching them what they're doing.
You're right.
They gotta have somebody watching them.
Yeah.
But you're supposed to have somebody watching them. Not doing nothing. Then get the guys riding horses.
Perfect.
Like I said last week, riding horses up in the mountain. Well, get hunting.
I didn't put you down tonight to be voted on, but I wish I did because you're an advocate, an asset to that. Because if I had put you down and voted on your name, your eyes, your testimony, we write, we submit that to the departments, and it becomes a real statement, yeah. And so now we can listen, but I'm gonna make sure we get your name on top this. Thank you, brother. I'm gonna add you on our committees anyway. Thank you. Okay, doctor, please share some of your stuff.
My name is Dr. Lyle Tanjoma. I'm a supporter or I'm an advocate for the environment concerning that big sign over there. In case you guys don't know it or didn't know it, it's already happening and it's going to keep happening for the next 30 to 50 years. Now, my generation grew up with bomb shelters. Anybody after that, not scared of radiation. The only people scared of radiation is dead already. We all need to wake up to this because Japan and the United States have decided on their own, without no EIS, without no community input, that we are under the bus already. Because 2 years ago, John Kerry gave the okay for release without consulting any scientists, without consulting the people in the Pacific, Alaska, California, Washington, Oregon, blah, 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 blah. We're under the bus and we didn't even know it. Our elected leaders looked at me like some kook. 2, 3 years I've been working on this. They just give me the flip off. But I'll have you know, there's no escape already. They're already doing it, and they're going to keep doing it unless we do something. And I mean we, I mean all of the Pacific. What I'm talking about is the United States, but Guam, Saipan, Korea, Chinese, Tahiti, New Zealand, everybody in the Pacific, if you think you're going to escape this, you're really mistaken. There's no way you're going to escape it. Now, you can talk about levels, you know, is it detectable or not? But what you're not going to escape is the two scientific facts of radiation takes a long time to go away, up to millions of years, hundreds of thousands, thousands of years of half-life. And there's nothing that's going to change that. Mankind does not know how to deal with that. That's why the biggest operating thing for any nuclear advocate or engineer is containment. They know it's dangerous. Containment means what? You never let it into the environment where people live, organisms live. But look at what they're advocating. The IAEA, the UN derivative, is saying, no, 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 no. No effect at all. No effect. How about you live in that environment? Then they change their mind. All of us, we're all born from the ocean and we die in the ocean. Am I not correct? The ocean is our mother, but yet they're dumping this. Me, I'm a doctor, so I'm thinking IV line in a pregnant woman, and they're slowly infusing radiation, knowing that it cannot be good. Well, that's killing the person. But I should really limit this not only to humans, because who I'm really talking about is the things that are in the ocean. Because without those things, the coral, the limu, the shrimp, the crab, salmon, seals, whales, can you imagine an ocean that is empty? Just imagine that. Imagine Waikiki Aquarium. You slowly infuse this meltdown radioactivity in there. How long you think going to take for that all the fish and everything to be floated and go all dead? You picture that in your mind. Now, I'm not talking about next year, 5 years, 50 years. I'm talking about, we don't know what we're talking about. The scientists need to examine the 1,200 tanks because the Japanese are not being honest about it and they're hiding everything. They don't want anybody to know what's in those tanks. So they're making up all these excuses. Oh, we need room for, we cannot have the tank. Or we're going to dilute them. Dilute them? How are you going to dilute and knowing that you got poison going into your mother's womb? You shouldn't have anything going in there. But no, they're making all the excuses. And by the way, besides being a doctor, I speak Japanese. I've been watching this. This is Kankyo Hakai. Subete Ipoteki. That means completely unilateral. The Japanese do not allow anything except the nuclear people to say the speaking. They don't allow environmentalists, biologists, oceanographers at all into the conversation. It's very one-sided. That's the definition of unilateral. Okay. Now, there might be some people willing, but they're not going to testify in Japan. And the reason is once they do, guess what? All the federal money for the research, out the tube, no more job, their research projects all dead. They're not stupid, so they're being silenced. Okay? Money talks. And poor fishermen, they're left. Oh, but we're giving them, the fishermen, a chance to speak. Yeah, in town hall meetings. Okay? But we all know, fishermen only worry about how much they can catch. They're not going to talk about how many gigabecquerels of radiation that's in their water. Of course, the Japanese government knows that. So they're playing them as fools. There's only 220 fishermen in Japan, 220,000. Okay? The population of Japan is 126 million. So they're not scared, the 220,000 fishermen, right? It's a matter of numbers, right? So they just let them go, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you had your time speaking. In the end, look at what they've done. They just talked about it. I knew about it from the whole 12 years. It started heating them up at 5 years when they hinted at, oh, we're going to let it out. And I kept watching, looking. So what I'm saying is, as a science person, what you read in the mass media is total BS, because that's the way the Japanese government wants it. They're not going to tell you anything damaging, and there's plenty damaging. Now, I cannot tell you all that now, but in committee or after the meeting, I'm very happy to talk to you, but I can only tell you certain things with accuracy because I'm not a nuclear engineer, but I am healthcare provider professional. I speak Japanese, but the number one thing that I am that you don't know, but you need to know is I'm like the drug sniffing dog. I sniff out science literature because there's a lot of literature like any place else, but 80% of it is BS. It's not good science. It's not good research. Don't have statistics, wrong design thing. I'm built like that because when you're in front and you have of a committee of 5 or 6 PhDs on your committee that's going to approve or disapprove of your dissertation, that's the environment I operate in. And I also add a second thing. I'm sorry I'm over the 2 minutes, but I know legal things too. I'm not a lawyer, but I have a judge in the family. So if you want to talk about unilateral or being impartial, there is no such impartial it's completely unilateral. And the US gave them the permission, knowing all of that, and they don't quote no studies or no biological things. They just say, okay, you guys go do them. So the question is, why? And the sad answer, I don't know why, but the sad answer is, we have no political power. We don't count. We just like ants. If you're Asian and Pacific Islander, you just like one ant. So we're up against the whole world on this. It's not only the US and Japan, it's the whole industrial complex, that's a tough goal. But we have to make friends. We have to get the other states, Pacific states. Everybody in the Pacific is going to be affected.
Doctor,
Thank you.
can you summarize real quick? Are you finished?
Well,
Because I want to open it up for some questions.
I'll be very available after.
Okay.
But if I were to summarize, is that this is a huge science problem, right? But who's the one doing all the negotiating? It's bureaucrats.
Yes.
Bureaucrats know squat about science.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Tenjome has all his information on the back table there. If you want to see him personally, you can see him after the meeting. Thank you, Doctor. I appreciate all your time and with this. Board members, do you have any questions? We got 15 minutes to go through elected officials and then the monthly reports from the military. And then we're going to adjourn this meeting. So, ma'am.
Dr. Kajumi, can you join our environmental side?
Dr. Tenjome,
Can you join the environmental side?
Environmental Committee. Okay, thank you very much. Go ahead.
They don't want no archaeologists on site, okay? All these guys that operating.
For Uncle Ten.
No. Ones that operating in the mountain,
Okay.
inside the mountain, they're operating and dozering and whatever they're doing up
Yeah.
there. They don't want no archaeologists on site.
Okay.
They
Okay.
gotta have archaeologists on site when they use any heavy equipment
Archaeologists. Okay, on site.
on any historic preservation land.
Okay, thank you very much. DPP radio. Okay, come on, real quick. Go ahead, baby.
Hi, Cassandra Werner. So I'm coming to let you guys know that on Sunday, the September 10th, I will be at Zubland Beach Park. I got a group of people together, including the Nanakuli High School football team, and we're gonna come out and we're gonna pick up the trash at the beach. So we're accepting any donations. If you guys have trash bags or if you wanna come out and help, we're gonna be down there. We're gonna clean up that reef area because the rubbish is always stuck on the reef and it gets into the water, kills the fishes, contributes to the radiation in the ocean. But we're trying to be tangible with what we can do and start cleaning up our coastline. So if you guys are free on Sunday, please come out and join me. I'll be there.
Thank you, Cassandra. What time?
8 a.m. to 10 a.m.
8 to 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Thank you for the announcement. Sunday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Sunday, yes. And I'm trying to make this a monthly thing. So
Nanakuli.
when you come out, we can connect. I have an Instagram for Waianae Coast Cleanup at gmail.com.
That plan, right?
Yep, and
Okay.
then we can connect and you guys can become a part of it, or we can
Thank
join
you,
the committee
Cassandra.
and all that stuff. I waited patiently, so
No
I like
problem.
just speak my 2 minutes because I was here all day, waiting to stop rushing me sometimes. But yeah, so I'll be there, but I really want to establish this so that we can get the youth together and bring awareness of all the stuff that's going on and make it known to the committee that we are doing stuff. You guys are doing stuff. You guys are working hard and we can do it together.
Thank you very much. Board members, any questions? Okay. Auntie Kapua online.
Mahalo. So I have a concern about the way that the agenda is set up today. It doesn't
It was
have
on
our
earlier. You never
governor
hear me
or our
talking earlier,
mayor.
Auntie.
And
It's
no,
the way
'cause I
the
was at
agenda was
another
set up today
function.
so that we could get through the board business first. And there was an organization with board and committees. That was very important, Auntie. And here's why. We cannot tackle solutions and create solutions without being organized. Okay.
we wait that you're not using my 2 minutes?
Get with me after this. I got 15 minutes to go through this. I got a guy that's standing up.
No, no,
for
no.
we're in community
Okay, so I
concerns.
do have a concern about this. When we're saying something, you're trying to cut us off and to redirect us. If I wanted to be redirected, I wouldn't be in the meeting
Auntie, I'm
anyway.
being polite. I got 15 minutes left on this board, probably 10 minutes left, and I got community concerns, and I got the senator and the representatives to talk, and then I got the military to talk. So you want to take up their time? It's up to you. You want to take up
No,
their
I
time?
would like you to stop speaking when I and other people are speaking. If you would be respectful enough to wait until we're
I'm gonna be
done,
respectful,
then maybe
Auntie.
we would stay within our time frame
Okay, Auntie.
instead of us having this ha ha ha,
I'm gonna be respectful.
wasting time.
So
Thank you
I'm
so
not
much,
gonna let
babe.
you speak.
Go.
I'm not gonna let you speak, Auntie.
Water chair. Point of
Come on.
we cannot do that, chair. We can allot her 2 minutes. Auntie Kupua, can you please state?
I'm being nice. Go ahead, Kapua.
Auntie Kapua left the meeting already.
Go ahead, sir.
Sorry, I live out in Miley, Carl Sands area. My concern was because I got a notice, sewer system smoke test. And the last I looked up, they did this in 2018 up in Waianae. They ran the smoke through the testing. My concern is all the things that's been happening. I mean, even to Maui and all that stuff that's been going on. And why all of a sudden they running smoke tests through our area?
Logan, did he state his name? I never seen this guy in this meeting. Uncle Larry? Okay, Uncle Larry, go ahead.
So like, concern is there any way possible we can stop this? Because like,
Uncle Larry, your concern is what again? What are we talking about?
sorry, it's gonna be kind of confusing because I'm gonna mix it up, but
No, because I designed the committees over there on that table and I want to take it. I'm going to listen to you for 2 minutes and I'm going to have you go to the committee that you belong. And so I'm asking, what are we talking about? So I can shift you over to the committee, get your name, get your contact number, and then we can specifically take care of the issues. Go ahead.
So I think it's regarding sewer, and maybe that's something we can hear on transportation, as far as the smoke testing and things. If we can definitely hear, what your concern is fully, so we can better understand.
yeah, my
please.
whole concern is like, okay, like, you know how Reagan came and he said, be careful when the government comes to you and say, hi, I'm from the government, I'm here to help, right? He said, really be concerned, right? Well, they don't even do that anymore. They just give you a notice and said, we're gonna do this, you know? And my concern is like, what smoke? What are you pumping up there? You know, they can tell you, oh, it's harmless, it's not gonna, talking about radiation and all that stuff. Here's the other thing that really got me, which really concerns the heck out of me. Got Governor Green comes in like he was a king of some sort, writes a decree, places it into perspective. I read the decree, I read the whole thing. And I'm looking at that, and it's like, wow, this brother went to Molokai, he went to Hawaii, he went to Maui, he captured all this land. Then he comes out in the news and going like, talking to us real nicely and telling us, oh, he's doing this for everybody. I'm just saving you guys because people gonna come and they want to take your land, but we saving you. No, in the end, he gave them to the DLNR, you know, and he appointed all these. He appoints all these different people in this position. I want you to, here's a quote from the guy he appointed, which really got to me. Yeah, listen to this guy. This guy's name is Frank Pace. He's the admin office of Homeland Security, which is Biden sent him here before July 17th when he wrote this thing. The fires happened in Maui on 8th. This whole program was in place already before Maui even started. You know what I mean? And so then, unlike in many mainland municipalities, many Hawaii residents have a personal connection or a lack, a negative experience with public service. There is a presence and relationship. And in doing so, summed up the state focused goals on this division. Right there, they just admitting it straight out, telling us what they going to do, right? And they telling us we baboozes because we don't even question them, you know? And here's these guys come over there. They're going, I'm going to smoke up you guys' pipes. No worry. I'm going to bother you, but oh, if half the pets like that, take them outside. So like, nah. You know, and then we come out, we both are concerned. I waited patiently. I wanted to come up, voice my concern. My concern is, when we going to put a stop to these guys telling us, you know, before, like Brian came on and told me this one time. He says, you know, local people, kind of different, and the guys don't understand the holidays. They don't understand. You know? The guy's going to say, you know, like, oh, I'm going to be nice to this guy. And the guy going to give his shirt off his back. He's going to be so nice, real friendly. And the guy's to a fault. And the guy's going to step back and he's going to say, this guy's so nice.
Uncle Larry, you can summarize, please.
I am. This is the summary. When the guys come back and they tell them straight out, right? And the guy get rude, the Hawaiian guy will get extremely rude right back to a point where he don't understand. And the guy's like, don't understand why this guy is acting this way. There's no middle ground. There's just one extreme to the other extreme. Right. And so like when that happens, that's where we're at right now. The things they did to Maui and those poor people over there, those guys went back to check his own land. They're arresting him and putting him in jail. Can he even go back to his own property, the poor guy?
Right. So if we can definitely connect, so I can see what is that notice that you received, so we can better guide on where this discussion would better take place. But we can definitely connect after we adjourn the meeting. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Uncle Larry. Okay, look like we're not going to finish this agenda tonight, but that's okay. Go ahead. Public concerns, keep going. You got 5 minutes. Which one? Uncle Rocky, go ahead.
Mr. Chair. Board, my only long-time community. Like your agenda. Like your agenda. The only thing about this agenda is when you're doing like number 5, from number 5 on, the emergency responders report, the board business report, board community report. Now you have community members coming up to the mic and giving the concern of each one. That's why the meeting is so long. Of each dot here, 6-1, 6-2. If you get like about 5-6 guys come up to the mic on 6-1 and voices the concern. Where their voice should be heard at the community concern. Am I correct? Board members, am I correct?
Okay, so
Sometimes it don't work that way, but it should work that way. That way, the meeting will go on much quicker. You do your board business, yeah? Go right through it, bang. Nobody talk from the community. You do your board committee, go right through it, bang. And when time comes to concerns, then you concern. I think that will speed up the meeting, the process much faster. And of course, they like to know what the officials also wants. They put out their report, every official. So the community member wants to know about that, so that they can voice their opinion too. But then, that's why before it was like that. The community concerns would come at the end, almost at the end of the agenda, so that all this going on
can get done.
Yeah, they can. Yeah. So this
Thank
is
you.
all I have to say.
Thank you for your comment. And it's interesting how you did say you like the agenda. The agenda is going to be revised according to the business we need to take care of. And at the very beginning, I stated that because today was a very special day. We tried to get all those committees established. Now we don't have to go back to that. So it's not going to be as huge and large as it is. Tonight was the very important meeting to get the vote in, to get the committee members, everybody's name approved by county and by the neighborhood planning. And thank you so much with your knowledge, Uncle. I really appreciate that.
I thank you, Mr. Chair, and the board members for being so passionate. In here, yes.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, almost 9:30. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Chair, can we motion to extend 5 minutes so we can have Garrison and Navy, because they did travel this way, who does not live in this community, to give us report?
Yes, we can. We're gonna hang on that motion right now. We got a community member that wants to speak. Go ahead, Uncle.
Johnny Senior. I didn't want to reinforce what brother Rocky said. Tonight, you guys told us about committees. So now we know where everything lies. Right, we know everything lies already. So nobody needs to be up here. The next time you gonna come up here right now, when your committee no can solve nothing, then you come with an issue. The only guy can say that we will listen to and pay attention, but the guy says it's not normal. It's real. It affects the whole human people, and it's us. But now that the agenda has been, the committees have been stated already, so everybody at the Zoom, you have anything to say, the board members should be over here, in my feelings. You're elected by the committee, yeah, by the people, you should be here, unless you're sick, like brother Endo. But if you're not sick, you should be ready, the people elected to be ready to answer questions. Now we make a committee, we know what we gotta do. Right, when you have an issue, take it to the committee. They cannot solve it. No, you come right up here, you talk. That's why the meeting going on endless. Meaningless. So guys, if there's anything to say in the future, you have an issue, you come to the table, all the people that have been sustained tonight, you can talk to them. And you can walk out, you have to listen, walk out, tell them your issue. And you give them the number. If nobody can answer your situation, your issue, you come up here and you talk. Hey, you told me go to that committee. They never do nothing for me. What, Chairman, what you gonna do for me now? What can you do? I'll let you know. That's how it's supposed to be. Make it simple. Don't make it hard, everybody. Come on. Hey, I can talk, you know what? I'm 70 now. Yeah. All the many years, they sit down, all the young puppies, and I listen. Maybe I come up and I talk as well. You can make it something so hard, so easy, hard, and it's not supposed to be. Okay, guys? There's more coming citizens at our mind. We have the committee that selected tonight. If you have any issues, take them straight to them. That way we live here for no easy, no more conflicts, and no more right? This is the chairman, sustain this chairman. But you only get 2 years. Let him do what he gotta do. Because why? The commissioner said at the Zoom to me, he goes, oh, that's something to say. But the guy got the last say is the chairman. Because why? If things gonna happen, he the one gonna have to answer to the commissioners. And I heard it loudly. Somebody complained about me. Okay, guys? Let's make them simple so we can go home early. Instead of 9 something, we can go home 8. Yeah, I love you guys all. God bless you. Yeah. Without Jesus, we're nothing. Remember that.
You guys are already almost 5 minutes over. The facility closes at 9:30. The only reason I recommend to adjourn is just because you put the facility contract at risk if you guys keep going over time.
I need a movement to adjourn this meeting. Thank you very much.
I move to
Before we
adjourn.
adjourn, I
Oh,
would
sorry.
like to see fair and equal representation amongst all community members to let their voices be heard. I also would like to respect everyone's time in coming and attending our meeting. We appreciate you guys sitting in our wonderful traffic to come out here to give us report. I also respect and appreciate every single board member and their service to their community, because yes, we are elected public servants, and you guys attending online, I appreciate the technology we have today so that we can attend from wherever it is we're coming from. But that needs to be equally respected amongst the entire board and equally from the community. So thank you guys all. Chair, I motion to adjourn this meeting and table the rest of our agenda.
I need a second.
Second.
Meeting is adjourned.